given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Independent, and the Cleveland Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building, and filing with the Township Clerk on January 7, 2022. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz. Here. Committeeman Santorino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Edo.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have a certificate of appreciation and proclamations. Our proclamation recognizing July 10th, 2022 as World Airway Disorders Day in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite LM's founder, Coping with LM's founder, Stephanie Houston, and board member Christine Amaro to join Mayor Perry at the front of the room.
I'm using this room. You can hear me now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Township Committee meeting. A lot of great new faces here today. And I just want to say it's really an honor because it's one of those times where we're able to proclaim something that I had never heard of. And I'm going to try and pronounce it now. Laryngomalacia? Okay. I got great staff that does great work. Sending YouTube videos, making sure I know how to pronounce it. But this is a disease that I had not heard of. And I think during one of my office hours, you had come in and said that, you had told me the story of your family, explained what this disease is, and I'm going to let you do the pitch, the 411. But the reason I bring it up is because it's always these types of diseases that have such an impact on people's lives, and the fact that nobody knows what this disease is, what this disease causes, and then the impact. I mean, the amount of trips that I know you've done to the hospital was astronomical. So I'm going to turn the floor over to say why we're declaring this as World Airways Day, and to talk about laryngomalacia. Wow, you're the first person to come up here with a speech like that. Yeah.
Tonight.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Houston. I'm a lifelong Middletown resident, mother of 4, and the founder of the all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit organization Coping with Laryngomalacia. Before I begin, I would like to thank Dr. Prasad Bhattan from Michigan Pediatric ENT Associates and Dr. Samuel Engel from Coastal ENT in Neptune, New Jersey for their help with tonight's proclamation. And to Mayor Tony Perry, thank you for taking the time to meet with me, to hear my story, and for helping raise awareness in such a meaningful way. I am honored to speak on behalf of the entire Stronger Than Strider community and to share the profound impact tonight's proclamation has not only on my family, but on the entire world of laryngomalacia. In 2010, my second daughter, Seraphina, was born. Within minutes after Seraphina took her first breath, it was obvious something was very wrong. She was working very hard to breathe and made an odd sound when she inhaled. My husband and I were reassured our baby was experiencing normal newborn congestion and Seraphina was perfectly healthy. As the days passed, Seraphina's health began to decline. Our baby was now struggling to breathe, choking on every feed, and was turning blue daily. After many trips to the ER and to specialists throughout New Jersey and Pennsylvania, we were told Seraphina had an airway disorder called laryngomalacia. Laryngomalacia occurs when the tissue vocal cords collapse, preventing the child from breathing easily. Simply put, LM is an airway obstruction that can vary in severity from mild to life-threatening, and Seraphina's was life-threatening. She needed continuous supplemental oxygen and developed left ventricle hypertrophy of her heart by 8 weeks of age from working so hard to breathe. She had severe sleep apnea, which required mouth-to-mouth by me several times. When Seraphina was only 4 months old, I laid her in the arms of a surgeon. During Seraphina's surgery, we learned that she also had a second airway disorder called tracheomalacia. Her trachea was not only very narrow, but it was collapsing. Because of her skilled surgeon, the surgery, a supraglottaloplasty, was a success, and Seraphina began to thrive. She was feeding well, gaining weight, and meeting milestones. By age 3, she was off all supplemental oxygen and monitors. She was doing wonderful, while I was coping with profound caregiver trauma, life-threatening airway malacia warnings. The only word that can somehow describe what a mother feels as she watches her child struggle to breathe is hell. It is absolutely heart-wrenching, but as a parent, you must stay brave and continue on. In 2010, just 3 weeks after Seraphina's surgery, I founded the first ever nonprofit for airway malacia awareness in the United States and in the world. For 12 years, Coping with LM volunteers have provided support, strength, and education for families coping with airway malacia, offering peer-to-peer support, resources, and important programs, including the Breathe Easy Care Package program, where we give handmade blankets to wrap children, just like my Seraphina, in love and hope. In many ways, Coping with LM is a refuge from the storm our caregivers never saw coming. As of tonight, there is no prenatal test for airway malacia. In a grassroots effort, Coping with LM founded World Airway Disorders Day in 2015. On July 10th, we paint our nails light blue and start the conversation that noisy breathing is never normal. Thanks to social media and our dedicated Stronger Than Strider community, our movement has reached thousands, but it was never official until tonight. This proclamation, a first and monumental step forward in the world of airway malacia. More awareness equals more children getting correctly diagnosed and treated. Lives will be saved and caregivers will be heard. From a mother who was told it was just noisy breathing, who was dismissed by multiple doctors, who had to fill her daughter's lungs with her own breath. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for standing with us on July 10th, World Airway Disorders Day.
So when Stephanie and everybody came and spoke with me, my son had just been born, and just a few weeks earlier. And I thought to myself, putting yourself into those shoes, and now sitting here tonight, what that must be like. And everything that we try and raise awareness for, it stands as a commitment from Middletown. And the fact that we have a Middletown resident who is working to raise not only awareness for something most of us have never heard of, it is amazing. It is, there are no words to know that we have such dedicated people, but oftentimes it takes a parent that suffers, that sees their child suffering with something, to know that they have to raise awareness for it. So, very quickly, I'll just read this. It says, whereas, I'm going to go LM. I like the LM. They can never just make it easy, right? LM is the most common cause of noisy breathing in infants and occurs when the tissues above the vocal cords collapse and prevent children from breathing easily. Its prevalence has been estimated to be anywhere from 1 in 2,000 to 3,000 infants. And whereas the primary symptom of LM of noisy breathing is important to diagnose early in infancy, as it may affect multiple aspects of growth and development, and this can be done by an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And whereas most children will outgrow the ailment by 12 to 18 months of age, however, 10 to 20% will have severe symptoms affecting their ability to breathe, eat, and will require surgery. In 2010, Middletown resident Stephanie Houston founded Coping with LM shortly after her daughter Serafina underwent surgery to treat her life-threatening LM. CWL is an all-volunteer nonprofit that provides support, strength, and education for families coping with infantile airway disorders. And in 2015, CWL founded World Airways Disorder Day, a day for the world to paint their nails light blue for LM and help raise awareness. Therefore, now, I, Mayor Tony Perry, of the Middletown Township Committee for the first time, do hereby proclaim that July 10, 2022, as World Airways Day in the Township of Middletown, to show support for CWL's mission and the families who are affected. And we encourage our community, our residents, to visit Coping with LM for more information and resources, given on this day, the 20th of June in the year 2022. Congratulations and thank you. Come on up. CWL team. So you know what? You're gonna hold the drop. All right, everybody right this way. All, if you're shorter than me, stand up here. All right, come on. Sarah, you stand right here. Sarah, pretty good. All right, we ready? Now at the count of 3, everybody say LN, the real words, okay? It's a test.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
I was kidding, but that was pretty good. All right, hey, CW, I want to tell you, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate you raising the awareness. And I am so proud that this was founded here and is taking place here in Middletown. Congratulations to all of you. Keep doing what you're doing, because this is something I had never heard of. And I know that there's a lot more people out there that need to be aware of this disease to ensure that we get great young ladies like this one up here, Serafina, changing the world regardless of what obstacles we find ourselves in, all right? Congratulations. Have a great night, everybody. Was it something I said, or? It's because I didn't pronounce it, right? Yeah.
This time I'll continue on with the agenda. We have approval of minutes for May 16, 2022 regular meeting and June 6, 2022 workshop meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clarkson.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. This is going to be a public hearing on proposed ordinance 2022-3347, an ordinance providing funding for various improvements to the municipal complex for the Township of Middletown and appropriating $600,000 for such purpose.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3347? Don?
Good evening, my name's Don Watson, live at 1 Collinson Drive. Didn't we already adopt ordinances for this stuff already? For the IT equipment and, what else was there?
Yeah. So there, we did do one early on because we were shifting and utilizing some allowances for certain unexpected environmental costs.
That was like 300,000 for office equipment, right?
Well, it was in that same one, I believe, right? Because
Yeah, you bundled
what's that?
them. You bundled them.
Because the furniture, we had an allowance originally for the furniture within the original agreement, redevelopers agreement. But when certain things, we shifted those allowances to cover those costs. So that's why we utilize the state contract to purchase some of the furniture. Now that some of the departments are in here, there are some slight changes not changes, but slight things that we wanted to enhance or work on. And one of them is working on some OEM and emergency discussions that we're having with the sheriff's office right now.
Nobody's sitting on the floor right now, right?
What's that?
Nobody's sitting on the floor right now.
Nobody is sitting on the floor,
Okay.
no. But that's why we're moving forward with this additional appropriation. Not the 600,000. No.
Okay.
I don't often get to be right over Nelson, so I'm gonna sit in this real quick.
Okay. I was under the impression that the contractor would do the remediation work on the grounds outside.
They are.
And we're paying them?
It's still the township's.
You can, but it was all, the environmental was still included in the cost of building the building. So unfortunately, when you, as you know, Don, when you, anywhere in the state of New Jersey, there's always going to be environmental issues that you're not going to be able to anticipate, right? So at the time that we had put the allowances in there to cover the environmental costs that we thought were appropriate, and then when you dig down inside,
When you get the bill.
what's that?
When you get the bill.
Well, you know about it beforehand, but you know about it when they uncover whatever it is. But it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances that there's always going to be, due to the requirements of DEP and environmental agencies, and for the benefit of the employees, that you want to ensure that those environmental things are being addressed.
Does any of this have to do with the gas tanks that used to leak out here? Before we put.
In part.
It does in part, but that actually was one of the costs we anticipated, because we already knew that issue.
Right.
We've had an LSRP and a process going to DEP for years for that. It's just that when they started excavating the site, they found a whole bunch more things than anybody knew was there.
Right.
That we had to, so our cost for environmental issues on site increased dramatically. We didn't budget for that, so now we have to shift some additional funds for the furniture. We still got pews to come.
Those are already paid for though.
Pews?
They're paid for, but yeah.
Yeah, like these chairs are temporary.
Where are they gonna go?
They come up and down from our training room each day.
Okay.
So, these chairs are they're not permanent.
Are you putting cushions on the pews?
No.
We're be wide open.
Long day.
We're a bring your own cushion kind of guys.
We wanted something.
I used to bring my own chair.
Yeah.
I still got my chair in the car.
All right, you don't need that here, but
And the IT stuff is for emergency management?
a lot of it is.
Yeah.
The discussions were slow when it came to deciding, for the emergency services part of it. There were safety things and things that we wanted to tackle head on now before everybody gets in here and address them, and then make sure that by the time the whole town hall gets knocked down, everybody moves that hasn't already over to, from Croydon, that those things are already taken care of. For example, this little buzzer back here, this key scan card thing, there were other places that we thought that weren't originally in the bid spec that it would probably be good to have those placed in certain in other areas. So, but that's part of the safety part of it.
All right, cool.
All right?
Yes, thank you
All
very much.
right, you got it, Don, thank you.
You bet.
Any other member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3347? Seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, we can close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
The motion carries, passes ordinance on second and final reading. At this time, we have introduction of ordinance 2022-3348, an ordinance authorizing the vacation of a portion of Jefferson Way within the Township of Middletown, Monmouth County, New Jersey.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3348?
Introduction.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Don shaking his head no, because you're saying the wrong thing here. I'm going to make a motion to introduce, but just before we take a second, this was a discussion item from the last Township Committee meeting. We had a discussion on it, and there was some misunderstanding as to why the sewer authority was not in favor of taking the parcel that would not be divided between the two neighbors. That has been worked out, so that is why we're moving forward with this ordinance tonight. So, motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held July 18, 2022. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 22-173 through 22-185, including payroll and raffle applications.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt the consent agenda. At this time, we have the Township Committee acting as the ABC issuing authority. We have one resolution, 22-186, a resolution authorizing renewal of liquor licenses in the Township of Middletown for the 2022-2023 license term.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 22-186. This time, we have Township Committee comments.
Committeeman Clark.
Not much. Just real quick, I want to congratulate Reverend Joe Hine, great career here in Middletown, and being part of our community. I had the opportunity to spend some time with him today, and he's going to be sad to be leaving. He left a great impact on our community. So, thank you, Joe. That's all I got.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll concur with Committeeman Clark's congratulations for make awareness, we're starting here in Middletown, so just another great thing to do. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Committeewoman Kratz.
I would just like to echo the sentiments and thank Stephanie Houston for coming forth and creating this 501c3 to bring awareness to such an important cause against me too. I didn't know nothing about it, and it was very touching to hear her as a mom. And oftentimes, moms can move mountains, and this certainly is an instance where that certainly is the case. So I'd like to commend her effort, and it was wonderful to see Sarah being looking so well and doing so well. Also like to congratulate our graduates from both high schools, North and South, this week. So wishing them all the very best. That's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, I've got to speak about Reverend Hines for a minute. Since I've been on the committee, since I've been involved, he's just done an amazing job for our community. He's raised awareness with Field of Flags every year. Every sad to miss him. The mayor and I attended his retirement dinner last week, and must have been about 100 people there. So everyone is very sad to see him go. So just want to thank him for his service. I attended an Eagle Scout ceremony this weekend. There's 5 members of our town that just received the rank of Eagle Scout. That's from Troop 120. That's 11 this year. So it's pretty exciting stuff to see 11 young people achieving that rank. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, just a couple things. I want to congratulate Infinite Love for Kids on a great 2-2 trot that took place over at South, raising funds for pediatric cancer. I've talked about them 100 times. They just do a phenomenal job at making sure that families that are dealing with pediatric cancer know that they have someone to rely on, and they just did a phenomenal job, raised thousands of dollars the other day in pouring rain, mind you. So just congratulations to them for a successful event. And then the night before, actually, the American Cancer Society had their overnight walk, which was very touching because the South track coach, girls track coach, who was diagnosed with cancer, was there. He did several laps with me around the track, but to see his entire team, past and present, be there for the event, and to root him on as he took that first lap was really incredible. So I just want to congratulate everybody over there. They do a phenomenal job. It's been 2 years, two years since they had their last overnight, and I'm hoping that last weekend, 2 weekends ago, is the start of a build-up back of that organization, because you don't think about the cost to get your loved ones to and from the hospital for treatments. You don't think about the hotel stays that are needed for loved ones, for the patients themselves, and this is what they're all about. I know Jim Van Ness has been involved in years past at their overnight walk, him and his wife, and they just do a phenomenal job. And you always think about the research, and that's great to think about, but the research isn't stopping someone tomorrow from being diagnosed, and that's what I'm so happy to see this organization work towards helping out those individuals that are facing that on a day-to-day basis. COVID didn't stop cancer diagnosis, and for Infinite Love and for American Cancer Society to continue to do what they're doing is amazing. Reverend Hine, there isn't an individual that I know of that worked harder for every single difficult time that Middletown, our state, or our country was facing. He was always one of the first ones to volunteer. His dedication to our troops, especially those who served during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and the liberation of Afghanistan. His efforts for those troops that served in those conflicts is second to none, and I really am so honored to have been able to know him for his dedication to the Field of Flags each and every year out at the Westminster Presbyterian Church. It's a very moving ceremony, and when you drive by in the days and week leading up to the event, when they place those 2,700 flags out on the lawn, it is really amazing and very solemn to see take place over time. So, very, very nice. Finally, something very good that happened, and the mayor of Cranford can come down and speak at that microphone, but he's going to get the same 5 minutes everybody else does. Your little protest after North's state championship the other day, North baseball team state championship. The mayor can come down here all he wants, but he's going to get 5 minutes at that microphone, but I'm not going to listen to 1 minute of it. North's, their protest over the game the other day was dismissed. Congratulations to High School North on their first state championship, baseball state championship, so really amazing. With that being said, any member of the public wishing to make a public comment, except for the mayor of Cranford, you'll hold it until tomorrow. Can you come up to the microphone? We ask that you state your name and address for the record. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I'll let you know that you have 1 minute remaining. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Don? You beat me to it. Oh, you're willing to defer? Okay.
Only the mayor of Ann Arbor.
I know. There's a lot of people who claim that title. I'll let you all fight that out among yourselves.
My name's Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive, and I was reading this environmental resolution that we've adopted tonight.
About the maintenance?
Yeah.
Yep.
It mentioned something about pea stone walkways.
Yes.
Is that pea stone going to be embedded in concrete? Do you know?
That's a little bit above my pay grade.
I think it just depends on the particular location, like if it's a walkway that's needed it needs to be barrier-free, then you have to make it a solid surface.
Yeah, so I was going to say, people with walkers,
Yeah,
wheelchairs, can't get through.
No, but what they've done now, there is now it's not, I don't know if the pea stone is the right term for it, but there is let's just call it gravel. It's not exactly like the gravel you think about. But there is a surface now that's been approved for handicap accessibility that's not pavement or concrete. It's very dense earth, and so where you need barrier-free, that can be utilized. It doesn't have to be paved anymore. There is a surface that's been approved.
All right, cool. I was just curious about that because I remember seeing pea stone. It's like you see some walls around houses. Sure. Made of pea stone.
You're thinking of peanut stone.
Peanut stone.
Peanut, that's different, yeah.
I thought maybe you're trying to save a few letters.
No, we're not going to use peanut stone for walkways.
Okay. Very good. And the mulch that we're getting, are we buying that mulch? That we're going to be spreading around all over these?
We produce tons of mulch ourselves, but playgrounds have to have special mulch.
Right.
But anywhere else, we provide.
That has to be
Yeah, flower beds and around trees and stuff.
That will produce.
Yes.
We're going to use that stuff in Belgium,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just curious about that because they got piles of it down.
I've taken the tour multiple times.
All
It's
right.
higher than me.
Yes. He's way higher than you. I think that's all I got. I left my questions in the car. I'm trying to think of them. But I'm too old to think of my own. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Vin?
Sure about this now? I can talk.
The same 5 minute rule applies to you that does the mayor of Cranford.
Vince Moran from Ann Arbor. I'm here because of, I received from the survey from the skate park. Okay, from the skate park. It's going to take me more than 5 minutes to talk what I want to do, so I'm going to make this real quick. I want to sit down with you sometime and we're going to discuss this. Okay, I won't bring it up now. All right, but what I did is I know that you have other things in town that you're taking care of and other things to do. Okay, so what I did is I got my button height here, and what I have here is rules and regulations. One from the Monmouth County of their skate park, and
Yes.
Seven Presidents Park,
Yeah,
their rules and regulations, and Atlantic Highlands.
okay.
So, they ran them off this morning for me. So, if you want, I'll give them, if you want me to give them to Laura, I'll give them to Laura. Because I did talk to some people too at the county line. Yeah, they have problems there. They have problems there. And like I discussed to you the very first time when you said a 6-foot fence, this is saying a 6-foot fence. All right? The county and Bricktown, the one in Bricktown, have a 10-foot fence and they're still climbing a 10-foot fence. Okay? You're putting up a 6-foot fence where they can climb over anytime they want. Okay? Fine, you got cameras. Is this going to be the same camera that you promised me when you moved everybody over to Croydon Hall that you were going to put in Congo Park, to watch Congo Park? Oh, we forgot to do something.
What does Croydon Hall have to do with Concord?
When I was complaining about Congo Park, the damage that was being done
Yes.
back then, you said that we're going to take and we're going to put a camera in Congo Park.
We are.
Okay?
No.
No, I'm talking back then,
Yeah.
okay? All right? But it still never showed up. I understand things take time.
Mhm.
I understand that. It's not gonna happen overnight, okay? But with this here skate park, seriously, in my opinion, this is not a skate park. This is a picnic grove, and a country club, and a real bad hangout. That's my opinion.
What is a park then?
Pardon?
What is a park?
Where's the park?
What is a park? W-H-A-T. What? What is a park?
I don't understand what you're saying.
How would you define a park?
It's secluded. It's not wide open.
How would you define a park?
How would I define a park? Open space.
No baseball fields?
Oh, baseball fields, soccer fields, baseball.
And what do people do? What do
What I'm
people
saying-
do at those fields?
Pardon?
What do people do at those fields?
Play baseball.
So why is,
What I'm-
hang on, then, why is this a country club, but a baseball field is an activity field, a park, according to you?
What I'm trying to state, is, like I said, it's gonna take me too long, so that's why I wanna sit down with you,
That's fine.
okay? And discuss this and.
The answer to your question about the cameras, though, is that the cameras are being installed.
All right.
We've been working with our contractor to get them installed, and the efforts to complete the skate park include in there a camera system on an existing pole that's already there.
Well, that's what you told me, that's what you said the last time. You told me that too. No, I mean, when we discussed the skate park, that the camera's going in there. I understand that. I understand that, okay? But there's too much, you have to go, really, you have to go look at a skate park. Look at what some of these skate parks
We
have,
visited Seven Presidents, we visited Atlantic Highlands.
okay? Okay. So take it from there. Like I said, I'm over my 5 minutes, I know I am. So,
I
mean,
haven't
if you
heard-
want
I
me to
haven't
keep
heard
going,
buzzer yet.
if you want me to keep going, I'll keep going.
Well, Heidi just said 20 seconds. Here, Laura will call you, and you'll cook me, you know where I am. And we can absolutely sit down. I hear you. My concern is, regardless of what I put there, you are gonna tell me it's a hangout. I can put anything there. And I understand that you live diagonal to the parcel. But that park's been there as long as your house has been there.
No, it hasn't.
What was there before?
My house was there before that park was there.
Before you lived there?
Yep. No, that park, when I was there before the park was even put in. The only thing that you had over there,
Yeah,
you know where the tennis court is?
yeah.
That was a baseball field. That
So
was a
then there
baseball
was a
field.
park, so then there was a park there.
It was a baseball field. No, it was just a field, just a field.
But that's a park, right?
Now it's a park because it was bought by Parks and Recreation, Campbell and Green Acres
What I'm
Fund.
saying is that baseball field's been there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be against certain parks and for certain parks.
You're not getting what I'm trying to say. What
I
I'm
understand
trying
what
to
you're saying,
say,
you don't want a skate park there because you think it's gonna be a hangout.
I have nothing against the skate park. Let me get that perfectly clear. I have nothing against it. It's the equipment that you want to put in there, that they're gonna sit there and hang there. This is what I'm driving at. All the equipment, not the equipment on
So
the
the
ground.
benches are your.
The benches are fine. Benches are fine. You're putting in sheds. You know what? You got me going. That's it.
The sheds are not there for people to hang out in. The sheds are not there for people to hang out in. The same shed that's at Fairview Fields right now is not for people to hang out in. It's a shed. You don't go out back to your house and
Well, you
hang
got
out.
two of them. You got two of them. They're canvas, and one's 8 by 12, and the other one's 16 by 20.
That doesn't have walls to
picnic
it. That does
tables
not
and-
have walls to it.
Pardon?
That does not have walls to it. The 8 by 12 does not have walls. It's not a shed, it's a pergola.
Okay, but it says shed. A shed's got 4 walls, correct?
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, oh, yes. Okay.
But the 8 by 12, there is an open space pergola.
So what it's gonna be is just 4 poles and a canvas over the top of it,
Shape
basically.
structure. Yeah, it's a shape structure, exactly.
Well, what's wrong with hanging out in a park?
I don't understand that either.
That's what they're for, to hang out.
That's the point.
I understand that to hang out with Paul, okay? You did it, I did it, he did it, I don't know about him. But I'm just saying,
Ted
it's
still
one of
has
the
it.
things, it's just that some people are even talking, like, you know, it's out of the way, it's closed in. In other words, it's not wide open like if it would be in the middle of the field, like the baseball field by me, or McMahon Park, or Croydon Hall, where it's wide open, okay? It's secluded. And a lot of people...
I'm working on that too.
Pardon?
I'm working on that too.
Okay, well, we gotta sit down, we gotta discuss this.
Okay, here's my thing though. You're never gonna win me. Always happy to discuss it. You know that. You come into my office more than any other resident has. And that is, you are always welcome there. But you're not gonna win an argument in my mind that says that people shouldn't be hanging out in parks. That's the purpose of them. I want people to hang out in parks. I want them to stop sitting in front of their computers. I want them to stop sitting in front of their video game systems and go out and experience what it's like to interact with another person. I want kids to realize, we constantly are talking about a mental health crisis. Well, maybe it's about damn time that the kids get out of their basements and they get out and hang out in a park and realize that there's something away from Xbox. That is my point, and that is why
I agree with you 120%.
Then why say that you don't want them hanging out in the parks? Why?
I'm not saying they're not
You
hanging
did,
out.
that was the first thing you said.
They'll be hanging out in there, okay? They'll be just sitting in there, whatever, okay? But are they gonna just sit in there? No, they're gonna be on their phones. Are they gonna be skateboarding? Who knows? Yes, no.
I don't have park police.
Okay? But I'm just stating, okay, it's gonna wind up being a problem, sooner or later.
You know what,
And I
you
hope
know what,
they
you know
don't-
what part of the problem is, man? It's mentalities like that. It's mentalities like that that are adamant that there's gonna be problems without a problem. I understand that people wanna be safe, they wanna be secure, but you know what? What was stopping, and the answer, I'll tell you off the bat, is nothing. What is stopping someone from going into it when it was an ice rink? When it was a roller rink, rather? Nothing. Nothing. But you weren't coming to me then. Now I'm repurposing something we are repurposing something into something that people can actually utilize. You never called me to tell me that kids were illegally skateboarding back there and building structures. Not one time.
I agree with that.
Well, you have to agree with it, because that's the truth. So my point being is, you're sitting here today telling me that there's gonna be problems, yet for a year, while they were constructing, utilizing, and hanging out back there, Vinnie Moran never came to Tony Perry's office, not one time. So because today we're taking action, or we did take action on this skate park and constructing it, you're automatically assuming that something is gonna happen back there? I hope something happens back there. I hope friends meet. I hope kids learn lessons. I hope kids learn how to do kickflips and all that good stuff. That's the point. I want them to hang out there.
Okay, fine, you want them to hang out there, then fine, and let them hang out there then. Okay, I'm not gonna argue, I don't want to argue with you. Yeah, I don't want to argue with any of this. Okay, but that's what I'm not here for. I
fully appreciate everything that you're saying. But I just don't like the assumption that kids shouldn't be hanging out in parks. There's a reason I refused to close the parks during COVID-19. There's a reason. And that's because this chair, Tony's chair, Craig Weber's chair, are the only ones looking at domestic violence that happened after Sandy because people were losing their house. Arson. There's a reason. And that's because people needed outlets. And our 70 parks across town provide people with outlets. And if it provides one kid with an outlet to figure out what he or she likes in this world, then I'm willing to do it. But I am not going to sit here and say that this is going to cause problems when for a year, those kids sat back there and were participating in activities that are exactly the same as what it will be in the future. Maybe it just takes a minute, and I will always take your suggestions, but I will not stand here and allow for an attack to happen on something that hasn't. I don't act in the world of
I'm not
presumption.
attacking nothing, I'm bringing something up. I'm not attacking
But
nothing.
you didn't bring it up the entire time it was back there. That's all I'm saying. You want to sit down and talk about it, I will always listen to you.
That's all I want to do, sit down and talk.
Laura will call you up and let you know.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Vin. Any other member of the public wish to make a public comment?
Mr. Brian Johnson, 210 Taylor Lane, we're in Taylor Lane Estates. First of all, I want to say thank you to the public parks. My daughter enjoys them. Second, I want to recognize the previous comment made by yourself about Reverend Hine. He was the pastor of our family, we baptized and all that other stuff. He's brought so much more than so many flags on the lawn there. He's brought a lot of peace and sanctuary to people that have had troubled times during these pandemics and every other time. The reason for my comment, those weren't the two reasons I came up tonight. I had two other reasons. Living in Taylor Lane Estates, obviously, we have our concerns, and several of the board members here have experienced our behavior and our concerns. They're very simple at this point. I'm working closely with the developer, and the developer is being very congenial in terms of making accommodations for some final resolutions. I understand that they're going to be pulling out in the July timeframe. So they're going to finish up what they're doing and so on and so forth. Number one, you live on the block, Mr. Perry, Mayor Perry, we could use some remediation on the roads. Once they pull out of town, it'd be nice if we could get some remediation on the roads from what they're doing. The second thing is, and I'm in contact with the police commissioner and the traffic commissioner on this, there is still a speeding problem on Taylor Lane. Period. It's that simple. It used to be coming southbound from the northbound people off 35. It's now a northbound problem coming from off the southbound side. So a lot of people moving very quickly. The difference between the speeding that was happening before and now is twofold. Number one, the speed has been reduced. I have personally clocked people at 100 miles an hour, 100 moving south when there was fields, no people, going to their softball game on a Saturday, fine, it is what it is. Sitting in the driveway, doing my lawn. I just got accused of sitting down on my own porch the other day, saying the first time I saw you sit down in 20 years. There's a lot of people moving south quickly. Now they're moving north quickly. The difference, the quintessential difference now, is that there's so many more people on that street. We now have the walkers. wave at them all, I try to introduce myself to them all, good neighbor, all that good stuff. I'm worried about some child, I have two. I'm worried about some child getting hit by somebody who can't control their speed. So, at the end of the day, and I will work with the police commissioner and the traffic commissioner on this, we need to kind of tame that down somehow. This is in a part, in a posit of the traffic circle that they're going to stamp on the way out of town. My understanding from the construction manager, John, is that they're going to stamp that circle on the way out of town. Everybody gets to go. All traffic should be egressing to 35. That's one traffic issue. Maybe there's some tickets there on a Friday late in the month that people can make some points up on. The other issue is the traffic speed on Taylor Road, and it needs to be addressed. I'm not sure it's right now because, and I've talked to the traffic commissioner about that, but it needs to be addressed because it will be a problem. Somebody's going to get hurt.
And we'll certainly take a look at that, and I'll talk to the chief about that as well with your comments. But also, you know, there's engineering things that we can look at if we do repave the road. There's some natural, I learned this a long time ago, but there are the things that you're able to do within the roadway in terms of the lines being painted a certain way that will, it's not so much reducing, you know, showing them that they should reduce their speed limit, but it's subconsciously making them by having the lines painted a certain
Or even medians down the middle with flat strips that get ripped down, whatever. You're sitting in a 40-foot carpet, a real problem here, obviously, and Mr. Sanbrino would know this because he sat with the planning board. We work on this. It's a wide carpet.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people looking at a lot of space. And the newbies don't have the historical context, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new traffic through that is not accustomed to that by virtue of the ShopRite and other traffic and so on and so forth. We've got a very narrow corridor still, which hasn't been expanded there by Village Lane with the school. It's something I'm a parent, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm scared. There's concerns to be had. If we can address them beforehand and not worry about it afterwards and have to make excuses about what didn't get done, I think we're better off.
We'll take a look at it.
We can also talk about putting the mobile speed signs up.
Yeah, no, I think
Because that slows people down. The problem you have is that the traffic light is a lure, right? People want to beat that light.
Well, let's forget about the DOT.
That's one of the
whole
reasons
different
speed up,
issue.
though, is because they want to try to get to that light. So there has to be some enforcement that goes along with it.
As I said, the southbound traffic has calmed down because of various visual obstacles and things that they can't see. The northbound traffic is now it's totally switched, and that's fine. And it's actually reduced. The overall average speed has reduced. The issue still stands, but it's aggrandized by the population increase.
All right, we'll take a look at it. I'll meet with the chief about it.
Whatever, thank you.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Okay, seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Zachariah.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you all.